Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Gianna Norton and I am a real estate agent in Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. And the only thing that our people here, the locals, may love more than the live music that happens every day, pretty much anywhere you go, has got to be our sporting events. And I'm here to talk to you about the musts when it comes to these sporting events, what you don't want to miss out on, and why you should check out all 4 of our professional teams here in Nashville, Tennessee. The only thing our locals love more than the live music here that happens pretty much anywhere you go in Nashville, Tennessee, has got to be our sports teams. We've got 4 professional sports teams out here, and I'm going to talk to you about the musts and the crazy experiences that you can have when attending these sporting events. Alrighty folks, let's get ready to tighten up. On average, these ticket prices can go for about $370, and sometimes you can snag a really cheap ticket for about $50, but be prepared. Those are probably going to be in the nosebleeds, and that is a hike, pretty much straight up. And how do I know this? Because I've been there. I've got asthma, and pretty sure I've had to hit my inhaler before. It's debatable on what's more expensive out there, the tickets or the beer prices, but nonetheless, it's a great experience. Let's talk about the pregame ritual. Some of the fun things to do when it comes to the Titans pregame, my personal favorite is going to be gathering a couple of friends, renting out a spot, and having your own party. But there are pregame events that happen put on by the Titans. One of my favorites is going to be the Yeehaw and Old Smoky Beer Garden. Old Smoky, by the way, is a distillery. They brew moonshine, so they're always down for a good time. There's a beer garden, beer sales, always some events going on out there, so feel free to check that one out. If you've got the kiddos with you and moonshine doesn't sound like a good idea for your day, there are kids areas, zip lines, and skill testing, 40-yard dashes. Can you throw the football in a certain spiral? I'm not much of a football fan. Don't know the terminology, but there's plenty for the kids to do out there as well. Not to mention the Titan Tailgate, brought to you in part, obviously, by the Tennessee Titans, that features beer sales, photo booths, games, and so much more. Now let's talk about some of Nashville's favorite players. Now, when you're at the game, you're gonna see a lot of fans wearing a Henry jersey, and that's gonna be for Derrick Henry. He is known as the king of the Tennessee Titans, and everybody loves him, probably a fan favorite. Now, he is incredible at the game. Eyes are always on him. You might catch these players out and about on Tuesdays, which is the only day off for NFL players typically. And they are involved within the community. They're visiting local hospitals, visiting schools, coordinating flag football teams. And this is to be involved with the local community here and give back to Nashville. Another famous player is going to be Taylor Lewan, best known for not only his football skills, but also his very popular podcast, Bussin' with the Boys. On occasion, you will find that bus located in downtown Nashville, Tennessee, or at tailgates, and make sure to stop by that booth, say hello to all the podcast hosts and guests and, everybody affiliated with Taylor Lewan. When it comes to the Tennessee Titans, it's important to note that there are far fewer home games than some of our other sports teams like the Nashville Predators and the Nashville Sounds. So that being said, make sure to grab your tickets while you can. That season typically lasts from August through January. The next team we're going to talk about is the Nashville Predators. Now, this has to be my favorite sporting team in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's because back in 2016, I was on a trip out here, and the fan culture just blew my mind. I was coming in from Colorado, and the streets were flooded with people in that gold color representing the Nashville Predators, and the best part about it, it was an away game. They had a big blow-up screen in front of Bridgestone Stadium. People were out there with their lawn chairs, cheering, screaming, and of course, enjoying the ups and downs when it comes to a hockey game and hockey culture. And that's what I really fell in love with about Nashville, is just the fans of the Nashville Predators. So we're going to talk a little more about them. Their inaugural season was in 1998, and since then, they've made quite a bit of progress. The name Nashville Predators were selected by locals here in Nashville, Tennessee. It was voted for, and it makes sense. Now, Rumor has it the reason that they're saber-toothed tigers and known as the Nashville Predators is because when they were clearing out the stadium or where it was supposed to be built, supposedly there was an old museum, I don't know, but this is the rumor I've heard. And they found a saber-toothed tiger skull down there, and they're like, man, isn't that cool? Maybe that should be our mascot. And lo and behold, here we are years later, representing the Nashville Predators as a saber-toothed tiger, which I think is pretty cool. Not to mention our super sweet mascot, Nash. Nash has got to be one of my favorite mascots out here. Whoever is the actor in there just brings the energy, is sliding on the ice on his knees, I mean, descending from the ceiling. You never know where Nash is gonna make an appearance out of. Some more of my favorite fun facts about the Nashville Predators is going to be one of our old players, he's retired now, was Mike Fisher. And the fun Nashville aspect of that is he's married to the one and only Carrie Underwood. Another thing that really brings in the Nashville culture to the Nashville Predators hockey games that you typically won't see in any other stadium is going to be the live music played by actual bands here, local bands in Nashville, Tennessee, in between periods. Sometimes when we get to the playoff games, they're much bigger band names than typical band that you're going to find on Broadway, which makes it really exciting. You never quite know who's going to be popping out to sing the national anthem or entertaining the fans in between periods. There's even a live organ player known as Crazy Kyle. Now he does a great job of getting the crowd ramped up, and because of that, we are actually one of the loudest stadiums to play in the entire league, which is pretty intimidating to other players coming in. But nonetheless, Kyle's starting chants, let's go Predators, played live on an organ, which again encompasses that Nashville culture, live music everywhere you go. And not to mention, one of my favorite parts is there's live giveaways almost every game. You're coming in the door, you get foam fingers, cowboy hats, you name it, they're giving it away. Always makes it fun, you never know what that surprise is gonna be. And speaking of the fan culture, the Nashville Predators have really fun pregame rituals like a car smash. Sometimes they offer free face painting, of course, beer sales out in front of the Bridgestone Arena, and so much more. So make sure to get there early to be able to check it out or do a little pregaming on Broadway. Before I start talking about some of the awesome chants that fans have come up with over the years, let's talk about some of the key players. Now let's talk about Matt Duchene, one of our key players, one of our highest paid players, and somebody that's been signed to the team through the season of 2025 through 2026. Now my favorite player is UC Saros, and there's a big reason behind that. Not only is he a really good goalie for the Nashville Preds, but he's also got a really fun chant. It took me a while to catch on to, but every time he blocks a goal, you'll hear the crowd go, "Use," and there's a reason for that. They're chanting his first name, cheering him on, encouraging him to block more goals, even though it sounds a lot like booing. Took me a while to understand that we were not booing our goalie, and I don't know why that went over in my head. But there are a lot more chants at the Nashville Predators games that it comes to. For example, when we score on the other goalie, we like a little chant, just to give you a brief description of it. Basically, we tell the other goalie that he sucks. The whole crowd. It's one of my favorite chants. May not be the best sportsmanship, but at the same time, it's kind of what makes those games different from any other NHL team, and it makes it a lot more involved for the fans. And who doesn't like to tell the other team that they suck? Chants like that is what makes it fun, easy for fans to get involved, and really brings the atmosphere that the Nashville Predators love to play in. Nashville Predators seasons typically last from October to May, depending on if we make playoffs or not. And that being said, there's typically home games almost every week here, easy to get involved with. Not to mention promotions, game day, where you find a code on Twitter, and tickets for the Nashville Predators can go as low as $10, but if you really want to get close to the ice, that average price is going to be $3.70. Now let's talk about our baseball team, our AAA team, feeders to the Milwaukee Brewers, the Nashville Sounds. Now this is the perfect excuse to get the family out for a reasonable price, and they've got a lot of fun features for both the kids and the adults. From theme nights like Disney Princesses, Star Wars, and so much more, they also offer Friday night fireworks every Friday that they've got a home game, which is really fun for the kiddos and adults alike. Then of course, there's the fan favorite, the Bandbox. You're gonna find a 4,000 square foot outdoor bar just out in right field. Now they offer a lot of fun games out there, from ping pong to cornhole, giant Jenga, Connect 4, and more. So not only is it fun for the kiddos again, but it's a great excuse for the adults to snag a beer while the kids are entertained. And you know, there's no discrimination, no judgment if you want to play a little giant Jenga yourself. Of course, make sure to check out their website so that you know when the best games are to arrive for the bobblehead giveaways, t-shirt giveaways, and so much more, not to mention silent auctions for Nashville Sounds jerseys. Their typical season is going to be April through August, with the cheapest tickets being about $12, but if you really want in on the action, you can spring for a $50 ticket for you and the fam. And if that sounds a little too expensive for you, my favorite hack to the Nashville Sounds is hanging out at 3rd and Home Baseline. So head over to 3rd and Home. They've got a beautiful patio out there with lots of seating, service so that you can get beers a little quicker and probably cheaper, not to mention a fantastic view of the field. Apparently, it's the thing that they do with soccer names, but I think we could do a little better. Like Colorado has the Colorado Rapids. I like that creative aspect. Nonetheless, we just got a brand new stadium here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's called Geodis Park, and it is the largest soccer-only stadium in the United States, which is pretty cool, right? It's set to be one of the premier sports and entertainment venues within the United States with over 30,000 seats. Now, I will say that I haven't been to the new park myself, but I have heard they've got great promotions. One going on right now is winning a Captain Morgan customized cooler pack. Of course, you can always check out their social media, score yourself some free tickets, $50 credits to the merch store, and so much more. Not to mention they have some fun promotions like watch parties, merch trucks popping up at Taco Bells throughout the city. I know that sounds absurd, but it's true. Go check out Geodis Park. Tickets start as low as $13 and they can go up to an average about $50. That being said, say hello to Tempo, the coyote. That's going to be the Nashville SC mascot. And thanks for learning about all of the Nashville sports with me, and hope to see you out in Nashville soon. It's definitely one of my favorite parts about the culture out here in Nashville and what makes it so special. As always, if you're looking to make a trip out to Nashville to check out the area, scoping out if you should make the move, which you should, my name's Gianna Norton, and thanks for hearing about Nashville with me.